the opportunity to have with us three guests that are here with us and will share with us their experiences, which are very relevant experiences related to the field of the climate change, its effects of the on the human lives, but also the technologies that we are putting in place to deal with these challenges. So we will try to catch up with respect to the time, because the other event was a bit late with respect to the actual planning. So we will try to figure out how to close a little bit in advance, in the sense that we expect to finish at 1:30. So we'll try to take about 40 minutes maximum to close in due time, and avoid to let the people organize the lunch to wait too long. So the reason why I think the rector of the university decided to organize this seminar is due to the fact that the University of Calabria is heavily involved in the definition and implementation of an important ecosystem, innovation ecosystem focused on climate change. The ecosystem is being deployed now in these months and will finish in February. The innovation ecosystem involves hundreds of researchers, young researchers from all around this region. Is expected to generate over 50 startups, 50 patents in the climate change field. We are all aware that the need that we have is to make sure that the technology transfer is to be the real leverage which can make the difference between the university and the companies. Universities, as producers of science, of knowledge, they have their mission. It's called the third mission, by the way, to enhance the technology transfer, to transfer the science to those who have to make sure that the science is put at disposal of the users. On the other hand, the industries are keen to get access to this knowledge, this know-how, hereby represented by also the National Research Center of Italy and of course Ecosystem Foundation, which includes a number of universities and development agencies in Emilia-Romagna. So these two counterparts, they work together to create opportunities for companies, but also for new companies to create new jobs and new entrepreneurship opportunities. There are many areas in which this can take place, and introducing the speakers, I may ask the speaker to stay about, say, 5-6 minutes each. I ask Luca. Luca is representing the industry, and he also will share with us. Some, I would think 6 slides or 5 slides, I believe, on a very nice experiment related to the calculation of the carbon through an automatic system. So the CO2 absorption, which is something that may seem quite exoteric, but it's something that these guys are putting in place to measure the impact of development projects like setting up forests, and the impact that this has on the CO2 and the generation of green certificates, which is now in the area that some call the greenwashing, and we should avoid this in the future. So I conclude just saying that climate change has to do with data. Climate change is our ability to govern, to handle, to manage, to elaborate, to process, and to take decisions on the basis of data. And that's why artificial intelligence can play a very important role. So I may start asking my colleague, Marina Silveri, to share with us how Ecosystem Foundation is working, tackling the new challenges coming from the use of artificial intelligence, using also quantum technology, as far as I understand, to deal with the challenge of climate change. Then I will move on with the National Research Center, Tommaso Moramarco, who is heavily involved in ecosystem, in our ecosystem tech for you, especially for the disaster preventions and critical infrastructures monitoring. And then, of course, I will leave the last, but not least, part to Luca to present his position. So I may ask to stay within the 5-6 minutes each. I will tell you when you are exceeding, so to be on the safe side. And then there will be questions, and I'll be very, very happy to facilitate the exchanges after that. So, Marina, first.
Thank you. Thank you, Aleardo. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for the invitation. So, I would share with you an experience as ecosystem in Emilia-Romagna. You know, maybe Emilia-Romagna is a region in Italy that has had some problem due to the climate change. But I want to share with you an opportunity that we have, because I'm the vice president of one of the 11 ecosystem founded by the Recovery and Resilience Plan in Italy, but I'm also the executive director of the regional agency dealing with innovation. So I had the opportunity to follow the development of our ecosystem since the beginning of 2000s, and we invest a lot as region together with the universities and main national research centers located there in innovation to develop industrial research laboratories, technopoles, clusters with companies to improve and to favorize the innovation of all the territories in our region. So in this situation, more or less 3 years ago, we had the opportunity of the Recovery and Resilience Plan in Italy, and we apply to have the chance to have to develop a focused ecosystem related to the green transition. So our project has Tech for You is focused on the green transition, and so all the universities, and this project give us the opportunity to have a huge amount of resources for our universities to work together to develop an important research program about this field. So green manufacturing, circular economy, smart cities, materials for sustainability, and also a spoke devoted to the use of HPC for to develop technologies and solutions for the sustainability, and with this important research program, we developed also an important technology transfer and innovation program. And that means that we use this project also to scale to regional level all the pathway that we had already developed before for the incubation of our startups, for the acceleration, for the public engagement, for the training, for the technology transfer and open innovation. All these activities focused on the topic of the green transition. So we had the opportunity to follow some startups to accelerate them. 24 startups have followed our accelerator program. In this situation, we had contemporary another opportunity, because our territory, I can say, apply to host at the big 5 years ago to host the data center of ECMWF, that is the European Center for Medium Terms Weather Forecast. It was in Reading in UK, but after the Brexit decision, they opened a call to relocate the data center, and we won this call. And we use a former tobacco area for industry, and we host and we prepare this area, and we host this data center. In the same time, we participate also because in Bologna there is the Cineca, that is the important consortium of all the Italian universities managing HPC, high-performing computers and data center. We participate to the partnership, European partnership, private-public partnership, Euro HPC joint undertaking. That is the instruments that Europe is using to develop the strategy on big data and artificial intelligence in Europe. And so we had now in Bologna, inside the Technopole Dama, it's the name of the Technopole, also one of the 3 HPC, the most powerful HPC in Europe, but also in the top 10 in the ranking, international ranking. So in this way, we have a concentration of capacity of calculation in Bologna, related also to some topics, among them the climate change and the impact of the climate change on Earth. And as a domino, we submit other proposal and we had other opportunities. And now we manage one of the 13 AI factories, European AI factories, because Europe is launching, is funding a very strong strategy on AI, and starting from these so-called AI factories. So not only infrastructures, but also services to help small and medium companies and public administration to use this capacity of calculation. So in an extremely short time, I would share with you that it's not an opportunity only for Bologna, for Emilia-Romagna. It's an opportunity for all the Italy, but also for Europe, and also maybe for the Mediterranean area, to have these strong and important infrastructures on AI, on quantum, because we are waiting also for a quantum computers now. And our researchers involved also in ecosystem project research, so focused on sustainability, they can apply, can use these infrastructures, and they can have services through the AI factories. And services are related to the data, so the collection, the cleaning, and the management of data, the services to train researchers and companies to use the application on AI, and services also on some vertical fields, among them Earth, and so climate and sustainability. Sorry.
Thank you, Marina. The point raised by Marina is very important. The high performance computing and artificial intelligence are intertwined, because the high performance computing can support the artificial intelligence to develop specific tasks and accelerate the process of getting to results through artificial intelligence. At the same time, artificial intelligence can support the high performance computing, optimizing and enhancing the HPC system. So it's very important, and this has to do with our capability to identify new ways, and the quantum computing, which is I would say a completely new paradigm of calculation, will have a very strong impact in the very near future. Tommaso Moramati. Tommaso, I know you are the leading scientific director of Spoke One, which is one of the let's say axis of our ecosystem tech for you. You have a long experience in dealing with also the use of artificial intelligence for the prevention of disasters, but also on the monitoring of the specific critical infrastructure. You know that we are also interested in knowing, are these new technologies and challenges that we are going to face going to generate also opportunities for youth, for new entrepreneurs?
So first of all, I want to thank you, Aliardo, for inviting me this roundtable. And I have to say that I was very lucky because I had the opportunity to coordinate a couple of European projects linked to climate change and natural disaster. So my experience was that actually we always hear to talk about climate change. I think that we need to talk about the global change. So we need to talk about the change of the key variable of the climate, temperature, precipitation. But at the same time, we need to talk about the land consumption. So if I want just to analyze this aspect, because in this case, AI can give an opportunity to solve this problem. So because we are not aware when a disaster occurs, which is the responsibility? Is the responsibility of the climate or is the responsibility of the anthropogenic effect? So this is a very, very, very aspect that I think the AI should help us. You're right. You're right when you say that we have a huge amount of data that needs to be verified, collected, verified, acquired through our models. So, and if we think about the monitoring, my skill is for a geological risk in terms of landslides and flooding. And we know the Mediterranean area is a spot from this point of view. So, and the monitoring is very, very important. So if you think about, I forgot to run the timer, so sorry. Okay. So you look at 5 minutes. So if you think that in order to have some public authorities, research institutes, university, but also the companies want to manage the scenarios in next 50 years, which is the source of this data? The climate model, so the global circulation model. We have a plethora of this model, and they have different resolution, spatial resolution. If you think HADCM3, PCM, ECAM5, so on and so on. I have a list of this model. And the resolution ranges from 150 square kilometer to 300 square kilometer. So we have a need to understand which is the real resolution of this model to get information about the climate change. So this is a problem that we need to solve. And I think that the AI can help us in defining, so if you think a glacier melt, for instance, deforestation, but there are many, many aspects, so the geological natural risk. So I think that the role of the company is very important because I'm scientist. I'm scientist. I have my colleague here from.
I confirm. If you confirm, you are satisfied.
He was in the committee for when I got to the position of a full professor.
He rejected
you. No. He called immediately. No, just, but I want just to say that so it is necessary to understand which are the key variables for the climate change and which is the spatial and temporal solution about this variable. So which are the equipment that we use to define the climate? Oh, okay, we have the station, we have rain gauge, we have satellite information for the, I'm talking about precipitation, but the resolution, we don't know. We have a different resolution. So in this case, we have really the problem of which are, and this is a scientific challenge, which are the spatial and temporal resolution, so that climate change can be well identified more, and I stop here now. We need to develop platforms, and in this case, the companies can help us, so that effectively we use the AI to engineerize this aspect, so that we have the correct spatial solution, and at the same time, we need to investigate the aspect. Then when we have a natural disasters, flooding in Emilia-Romagna, we had a very big flood in last year, May. So, but which is the impact of the climate, which is the impact of the anthropogenic action? So this is the question. And I think if we are able to organize, to homogenize, this huge amount of data, then maybe we can have the answer at this question.
Thank you very much, Tommaso, also for your usual passion that you put in this kind of discussions. I know that you are heavily involved in a number of projects regarding this topic. The issue of resolution is a key issue, in fact. The topic of today is also to clarify what are the main opportunities that we can share with the young people to create new job opportunities, new, let's say, blood for new successful companies being able to transform, to convert technology into successful business models. And we have here Luca Brizzi. I know Luca since many years. He's the founder of, he's a serial founder. Yeah. And of companies. But what is intriguing, what he's doing, is that he's probably dealing with you highlighted right now, which has to do with the resolution and how to make sure that data can be transformed in value. As I said before, one of the challenges is also to evaluate the carbon dioxide emissions and to make sure that our behaviors, and not just as individuals but as companies, can really have an impact on that. Luca has a presentation that I found very interesting and will share with us very shortly. We are running at the time that was expected, so please, Luca.
Yeah, I'm Luca Brizzi. I'm the person that can try to put on the ground all these technologies and that kind of solutions. So, as ADPM Drones, we are a SME company located in Rome, Italy. And what do? We collect things, we build things, hardware and software things, in order to collect and transport data with the help of AI, because the world is full of data. Please forgive my English because I'm not so good in English. So, okay. So, very quickly, I will present to you a few real projects that we use in different contexts, these technologies, all oriented to infrastructure monitoring, air quality monitoring, CO2, and wildlife monitoring. And we use we use all these technologies. This is a European Space Agency project that we are doing in Torino, for the infrastructure health monitoring with Ponte Amedeo IX and Ponte Carlo Emanuele III. And we use UAVs, autonomous system, drive by AI. Okay, please go to control the first ponte, and the UAVs go to the first bridge. And integration, sensors, communication system, because we use 5G, 4G, and also satellite communication for drones and for sensors. Another project is related to the air quality, to monitor the CO2, and also in real small scale, because we can get the CO2 and other air quality values centimeter wide. So imagine what we can do with this kind of system. And we use, again, UAVs with sensors on the mobile sensor on UAVs, and also static sensors on the ground. Everything is inside a blockchain, okay, for notarization and tokenization. Everything is driven by AI, not only LLM, okay, and we don't try to not use with copy and paste things, okay, but in order to build real infrastructure tools and systems. Another project is the project BEAM that is related to the biodiversity and wildlife management. And we use the same technology in a different context in order to analyze, for example, the wildlife habitat, counting the wildlife, and try to integrate this kind of solutions with AI, because we need to get data quickly in real time. And imagine that we have covered the entire Parco Sirente Velino, 22,000 hectares with just one drone, okay, AI solution for interpreting the video in the format of NATO Stanag 4609, and we have an IPR on that. So imagine what this kind of technologies applied in the real world can really speed up to collect and transmit and analyze the data. Just the last thing, because it is about our company, we use also AI for our workflow, because we are an ISO 9001 company, okay, and we need to trace every document, everything, and everything is managed by we have developed in-house our AI agent and LLM that can manage everything. And I don't know how to say pallino, okay, because we want to connect the real things in the world with the AI system. And we have also an agent developed in-house, an AI agent and LLMs that can drive our drones. For example, please control all the area around the Tecnopolo Tiburtino. Luca, I have the battery on 20%. It's real. We can do, okay. And at the same time, the system control all the air regulation, the flight, and the ENAC regulation and authorization for drive the flight. That's all. Thank you very much.
Oh, Luca, thank you very much. Very inspiring and tangible presentation, showing in fact how you have 5 minutes, don't worry about that. How the conversion of AI, drone technologies, and satellite data, which are integrated in your data processing system, can generate information that may change our decision-making process for policymakers, for companies, for those who have to also invest in environments. Because you, as Tommaso was also emphasizing, it is important that we know what data we have around us to take the right decision and prevent possible future events. I have many questions to ask you, and I would have many questions, but I don't, because I would like to leave the floor to some of you. You may like to share with you thoughts or ask you specific questions. I have the pleasure to have here some colleagues from the hub and from the hub of Tech for You, and I wonder if there are some professors from leading university from Africa. And I believe that that this could be the occasion also to change views, to ask questions, and to establish the necessary ties to go on with the future collaboration. I don't know if there are possible. Domenico raised the hand. Domenico, thank you for this. Domenico is innovation officer of the Hub Tech for You, and he's also expert in artificial intelligence system because he has been elaborating with other colleagues like Piero Casella and other colleagues our internal management system based on AI. Domenico, floor to you very shortly because I promised the people you can use microphone, but I think they can hear. Anyway, they can hear.
Okay. So I have as well a lot of questions to do, but I will be short. And I will start from Luca exactly because he's an outsider of the training system and the innovation ecosystem that we used to work. The topic of this panel is the impact of AI in entrepreneurship education and entrepreneurship, value and effectiveness, especially innovative. So there is a similarity between something that we are trying to do in our ecosystem that Tommaso knows perfectly, and what do you do by the drones recognizing image about the natural, ground. So basically, we are trying to. It's more than 1 year that we run a machine learning and AI process to basically analyze data coming from scientific reports, research from our pilot project, and we are trying to detecting or maybe predicting as well the best hypothesis in terms of prototypes and IP assets, just to give to our researchers and our research team options to evaluate on how to valorize the research, of course. So this is a kind of support. So what we are trying to do basically is to understand with completely different eyes, respect the ones of the researcher, the potential outcomes in terms of innovation from their research. And we do this report like a couple of times per year, and it's very interesting to discover that sometimes comes up options or opportunities a little bit different than the ones planned. So, and I think this is natural because when you do research process at the end, so you don't have anymore the same mind you had in the beginning. So don't you think that this could be similar to the image recognition you do with the drones, on the high level and looking on the ground and understanding the ground basically. So we try to do quite the same. So do you think that this kind of approach could have really an impact on entrepreneurship, education? Because, and this is another part of our lives with Aleardo. We run acceleration program for many years, so we know, and we spend a lot of time in educating young, innovative entrepreneurs. And we know that one of the big problems is exactly understanding the effectiveness of a business idea, or today, most important, the opportunity to integrate this idea with something else. Okay, so and this kind of application can help this. What do you think about? And also, of course, any potential answer will be fine. Thank you, and sorry.
Thank you very much, Domenico. Luca, very fast. Are there any other questions from the audience? So you'd like to ask? Yes, please. Very fast, sure. Mark, I'll give you the. I'll give you Mark.
Okay. So hello I'm a social psychologist from Turkey, and I'm deeply interested in AI issues, and that's why I'm here now. But I'd like to highlight one of my concern about AI issues, because thanks to the companies and innovation or technology research centers, they find quick and recent solutions to the disasters that we come face to face. But they, as you said, they collect data in real time, but the real life doesn't only data. So, if this session is planned to empower the young generations for entrepreneurship for the climate or global change, so I believe that we need to make the students, university students or young generations, that they really, really need to align with AI. I'm interested in the humanistic sides, okay, the cyber values, the secure use of AIs, because this is something that we mustn't fight. We need to come aligned. So, do you think, as the companies or the research centers, to implement or to add a social scientist during your studies or your research? Because I think this is very crucial. Thank you.
Of course, I'll leave the floor to Luca to reply, and then I'll leave the floor last, 1 minute to close to Marina. But there was, there was your colleague before, very fast, because I promised to put it too, but.
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Nazar. I'm not from the science. My background is PhD in law, but it was a very important topic. And, especially it sheds light on the positive side or bright side of the AI, because, in the Middle East and the MENA region, many universities and higher education institutes, they still have concern on introducing AI to the education and higher education system. So that's a big problem for our university. We need to, make use of this technology. We need to introduce this technology to our, education and higher education system. And sadly, I missed the first part of the presentations. I think I've heard the concept of AI factory. And could you please, elaborate more on the concept this? Thank you very much.
But AI factories in Europe and the role of your AI factory.
Yes, thank you. My name is Diretta. I'm interested in AI in health and scientific publication. But my question is not directly related to that. But if anyone interested in that area, I'll be happy to talk to. The question is related to what happened in Derna in the year 2023, which is a major disaster in the North Africa, where we lost about more than 15,000 people in a matter of hours. That cyclone was actually broadcasted to happen in Benghazi, which brings me to your point, really very valid. But the disaster happened about 300 kilometers away. And the problem was the amount of rain. It's not just the wind and the speed of the wind, but also the rain was about 400 mils in a matter of few hours. And that part of the world expect 200 mils of rain per meter square, I think, and the whole year. So I could imagine the volume, the sheer volume of the rain poured in that particular spot. And it was actually governed by two very old dams, some built in the 70s, I think, and it was made of mud. And that collapsed and really washed off the whole city. Nearly a third of the city was killed, was actually damaged, and actually the inhabitants and everything was taken to sea, was sort of washed away. So I think your point of accuracy or visibility or ability, this happened a few weeks before ChatGPT was released. The question is, if ChatGPT was available then, do you think we could have changed the outcome? Thank you.
Thank you very much. It goes without saying that it's not the question of technology. Talking about the climate change entrepreneurs, they have to deal not just with technologies, but with the sense of what we are dealing with and to the impact that this may have on people. ChatGPT and other tools will change our way of thinking. We don't know yet how, but we have to govern this, and we have to find out ways to use the technology to improve our lives and the environment in which we live. I will leave the floor in a very short, let's say, sequence to Tommaso, if you have any comment to make, Luca, because he was called to provide an answer, and of course I will close with Marina Silveri.
No,
very fast, so we can close it.
Very quickly. I want just to connect to the question of was from my colleagues also. Yeah, and I think this is a very important AI in terms of the impact, social impact, in terms to identify or better to raise the awareness and also the information of the population, of the people. So this is, and then AI, I think that should help us in identify the tools that make the people more aware and more informed about the risk that we may have. This is, I hope to answer this in this case. As regards the impacts of the climate change, and I think that the problem is the prediction of these events. So this is a problem. And this is a problem of I would say that we have a scientific challenge to identify the spatial resolution because of the cyclone. So in this case, we expected that the cyclone is here and then we have the flood there, as you said. So this is a problem. This is the challenge. I think that in this case is the challenge is the integration about, because this is not a problem disciplinary. This is a multidisciplinary problem issues. So and we need to identify the integration through the multidisciplinary approach, science, and the innovation of the technology. So we need to have this integration between these two aspects so that we can identify the key variables in the spatial and temporal solution, which kind of data we need to use, which are better, which kind of the technology we need to use, ground or satellite, or merge them. So, and in this case, we can work. But this is not a problem of the Africa or this is a problem, worldwide problem. It's a worldwide problem because also in Italy, not in Emilia-Romagna, but in the same period before, so a few months before the flooding in Emilia-Romagna, we had in Marche. And in that case, our model completely failed to predict the rainfall. And we have also the injuries there. So that's a problem, but it is a scientific issue that we hope to solve.
Professor Marmac, thank you very much for this. Luca, floor to you, and then we have.
Okay, so Tommaso, you got a point, okay? Because I don't think that AI is different from other technology or tools that we had in the past. Okay, so it's really smart, it's really quick, and we must cope with this. Okay, and I'm not in trouble thinking that it's not dangerous, because with the same hammer you can pick on the head of a person, and on the other side you can create the Pietà of Michelangelo. So the same tools, okay, the same tool. So we need to understand how to use this kind of technology better, but we must, I guess, and I hope, we must change a little bit our way of thinking and our way of view things in the real world, because we are really, as said before, focused on just one thing. But nowadays, we can cope with many intersecting things, and we can use the same tools on a wide area. But we are focused on a really specific area. We must check on our left or right side in order to use the technology better, in a better way. That's all.
That's also the answer to the main.
Yeah,
point.
yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Marina, the closing.
Not a conclusion, but some answer. Yes, first of all, AI factories. The name is related to the willingness to start from theory and to arrive until the create case use case. So the factory is to transform the potentiality of AI into project. And this is the investment of Europe, and is to also to open not only this HPC and the infrastructures to the research world, but also to SMEs and public administration in general. So the factory is to create, to develop a project, and then the last call for a call for interest has been about the gigafactory that will be the next step, because with AI factories, the beneficiary can reach the POC, the prototype, but after, if the company wants to develop the project at regime and to launch the product and to use really in the market, they need more and more capacity of calculation. And if we want not to use the big player, in USA or other big players in the world, but we want a sovereignty in Europe, we have to invest more and more in this gigafactory. And this for your first question. I want to add only two things. Now we have some geopolitical and so important challenges also about climate change that we have the urgency to transform in solution the research. We have an excellent research, but now all of us feel the urgency to transform this research and this knowledge into solution. No, we feel this urgency, and to do that, we speak about the deep tech, the scale up deep tech. That means a new solution for completely new market starting from research. And to do that, we need some ingredients, not only a good research, but infrastructures, competence, of course, institution and public support to develop, and capital, venture capital with a patient venture capital, because the period to develop the solution is longer than before, because the challenges are very, very, very important, and then the talents. So all these we use the name of ecosystem. When we speak about ecosystem, we are speaking about all these ingredients, and so it's for that the universities has to cooperate with the market and with the private, with the institutions, to face these challenges. And the last thing that I want to point out and underline is the social humanities and also law. It's totally important also to develop our way to the innovation. And so we need multidisciplinary teams, and the humanities and the psychologists and philosophies are very important in developing the solutions through the AI, and also the law. Europe is investing a lot in the so-called sandbox to try new products in a way to taste and to experiment new regulation. And so also these competences are very important in the development of the new product to face this transition.
Marina, thank you very much. We did our best to showcase in 50 minutes a very relevant topic like the climate change challenges, the technologies to deal with them. And we started from the investments that are required in terms of, let's say, capital investment, brain investments, and the role of the ecosystems. As said yesterday, ecosystem is not a new player. Ecosystem is a frame of mind. It's a place where people start learning and collaborating together openly without a boss. And we have to create, this is an ecosystem, which we change views and we find ways to do it. So we started by a huge investment made in the AI factories and over. We have seen how the industry is trying to deal with that, with enthusiasm, with the intellectual power, with the experimentations. And you also, and I like very much, the doubts, the uncertainty of the science, who says, listen, we failed. I like very much when he said we failed, because failure is very important, because from failure we learn. From failure we improve and survive. In our fight, eternal fight, never-ending fight with nature. Nature, we are nature, so we should not fight against nature. We have to grow with nature, and we have to make sure that our technology facilitates our relationship with nature, but we fail sometimes. But you know, we have to go on and on to make sure that we can live better with our nature thanks to technology. Thank you very much to all of you. It was a pleasure. And we hope that we all enjoyed the lunch at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fine.
Yeah,
We
nice
miss
to
you
see you. Nice to
physically.
see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here for a session after lunch, which is not easy at all. We will try to be active and involve you in the discussion because we have to involve you. So we are here to present the initiative that we have just launched. So it's a Unimed University initiative for climate action. I will explain a bit which is the background and how we arrive until here, or better, until the stakeholder meeting organized by the Union for the Mediterranean we had 2 weeks ago in Girona. I am here with Professor Giuseppe Villa-Subiros from the University of Girona, coordinator of the subnetwork, the Unimed subnetwork on climate and environmental change. Online, we have Adil Sali from the Abdelmalek Sadi University in Morocco, also coordinating the Unimed subnetwork on climate and environmental change, and Professor Ala Abdelbari from the ASTMT, so the Arab Academy for Science, Technology and Maritime Studies in Egypt, in Alexandria. So how did we arrive here? In 2022, Unimed was invited at the COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. We had a joint session with the UFM in the Mediterranean Pavilion, which was the first edition, let's say, of a pavilion during the COP dedicated to the Mediterranean region. And we have this session together to explore a bit how to close the knowledge gap on climate issues in the Mediterranean. The year after, so in 2023, the UFM organized a public consultation on higher education. And among the outcomes of the consultation, there were specific topics related to climate change. And so the need to push for, let's say, a collective action and to have also not only greening education, so greening curricula at the universities, but also include the research and innovation dimension. The year after, so it was in COP29 in Baku. So last year, we had another joint session, hybrid one, with participants in person and online, dedicated really to greening education. And finally, we arrived to the idea to have this stakeholder meeting organized by the UFM, which took place 2 weeks ago with the sponsorship of the Swedish Cooperation Agency. We had around 40 participants from several universities and also some university networks active in the Mediterranean region, where we presented also the results of 2 mapping we have made in these years. A first survey, not a mapping, a survey was dedicated to students' engagement in climate action, and it was realized in the framework of a small research project we had financed by the Italian Ministry for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. The project was called ASMEC, and it was really to investigate the behaviors, the perceptions of students, in particular in Morocco, Lebanon, and Italy, on climate change, sustainability, and the second survey that was launched by the subnetwork on climate and environmental change to map the existing curricula. And on that, I give the floor to Adil. Let's see how the audio is, who will present the outcomes of these 2 surveys.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll try to share my screen. I wonder if you are able to see it. Can you see my screen?
Can you put it in full presentation mode? I think it is. No.
How
Okay.
it is going now? It is going now. Great.
Now it's
Great.
okay.
Okay, so good morning. Thank you for allowing me to share the outcomes of a structural diagnosis based on two multi-country surveys that map climate and education in the Mediterranean universities, both prepared by the Unimed Generalassembly on Climate and Environmental Change, as mentioned by you, Natalie. It is diagnosis endorsed by two papers. One already published a few weeks ago, and the other under review. Both are in Q1 journals, giving them strength and credibility to our analysis. Let me begin with something simple. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is already here, shaping Mediterranean societies and economies. And universities, as we know, are not passive observers. They are meant to be engines of knowledge, foresight, and public leadership. But while climate discourse has spread rapidly, we still lack clarity on whether these institutions are structurally equipped to respond. You know, there is an empirical knowledge gap on this. So we designed the two surveys to get an empirical look at how universities engage with climate and environmental education across the region from different perspectives, to mainly from the perspective of university leaders and from the perspective of students. The first finding was a paradox. There is 81% of universities that declare climate education a top priority, but fewer than percent of institutions employ more than 5 faculty members specializing in climate and environmental sciences. And so many universities claim the reason is a strong barrier in relation with staff shortage and budget limits. Moreover, even where courses do exist, enrollment in the dedicated programs is low, and many students never take a climate course before graduating. From another perspective, taking another look at the share of commitment, where there is 81%. We understand that 19%, of course, of institutions have other priorities. This is 1/5 of all Mediterranean universities. They have other priorities than climate education, and this is mostly linked, according to our observations, to disruptive socioeconomic setting, structural point in some Mediterranean countries to keep in mind. We went further to indirectly assess commitment and structural capacity based on a series of indicators. So we identified 4 institutional profiles. There is a small group of almost 15% who are strategically aligned, where climate priorities are backed by real intrinsic frameworks. The largest group, 40% approximately, are vision-driven with ambitions, but weak implementation. There is a 25% who are action-oriented. These universities deliver more than they proclaim, often due to, mostly they are from European Mediterranean. They often are having policy mandates, competitive context, or accountability that push them towards this kind of archetype. And 20% remain symbolic, where climate appears in discourse but not in action. This is a typology that recognizes that discourse alone does not equal readiness. And it is interesting to see that the share of universities at the strategically aligned quadrant from the 3 sub-regions is quite similar, meaning that the existence of key intrinsic factors empowers universities regardless of the geographic context. Another point is that European universities need more strategic structural framework, while in the MENA, the focus on implementation is key. And it is commonly admitted that interdisciplinarity is essential to address the complexity of climate change, of course. However, most programs remain isolated. I mean, we found that 53% of curricula rely on just 2 academic domains, usually from natural sciences. The median interdisciplinary score is 42%, while the threshold is 75%. And this means that there may be some disciplinary diversity, but even when multiple departments are involved, they often operate in parallel, not in dialogue. And true integration, consequently, is rare. So climate education is mostly divided into familiar scientific domains, leaving out critical social, legal, and police dimensions. In other words, I can see that climate education is spreading, but not yet evolving. Now let's turn to students. We found that 59% of them say they feel very familiar with climate change. Yet only 47% have received structural education on climate change. And even more striking, we found that only 4% of students from different countries and different contexts at the Mediterranean are confident about the engagement of their institution. There is a problem of an issue with trust. So addressing climate crisis, according to them, by their institution is not at the best as it should be. And they are not also confident about self-empowerment to make impact and have good opportunities for the job market. So we are educating an informed generation, but not an empowered one. And of course, without institutional trust, without awareness, this will not translate into engagement. And without engagement, education risks becoming not fruitful. We looked deeper into students' perception and attitudes to try to identify possible clusters, and we found that there are 3 student engagement profiles at the Mediterranean. There is a group we called skeptical pragmatists who trust policy narratives but remain passive. A second group we called informed adapters, and this group of students have been educated on climate and are open to adaptive strategy. And finally, there is a third group of committed advocates who are a minority, but are highly engaged and well informed. These 3 profiles are different clusters of behaviors. This means that we should treat each cluster differently, engage those who are ready, and activate those who are still passive. How to do that? We believe there is key inputs that should enrich our education systems to elevate students' profiles and engagement opportunities. Back, we see 3 different educational geographies at the Mediterranean. We see Europe, which shows structural depth but slow incremental reform. There is the Middle East with expanding velocity. It is rapidly expanding, but it lacks curricular integration. And the Maghreb, despite constraints, is showing rising ambition and early signs of coordination. This different landscape of geographical education with educational realities is a wonderful laboratory for reform with different shapes of consolidation and fragmentation. The 3 subregions of the Mediterranean have long-lasting exchange and collaboration backgrounds that make them close enough to adapt their models, or even better, dynamic enough to chart a new agreed path. So what would this path look like? We thoughts, opinions, and reflections on this from tens of representatives of Mediterranean universities 2 weeks ago, as said previously by Natalie in the higher education meeting organized by DFM in Girona. And we had rich feedback and comments from them. And these comments overall were about 4 pillars. The first one, mandate sustainability, make it across the entire curriculum, not just in optional courses. Second, to build interdisciplinary faculty ecosystems. So to try to fund interdisciplinarity, hire, train, and reward staff who can excel across boundaries. The third pillar is to build intrinsic student representation, so to give them voice not only in classrooms but also in the co-creation and in the decision-making process. And finally, pilot regional innovation hubs, and this could be places where international institutions co-create climate curricula together. So the idea is that we need to stop treating climate education as a patchwork. Instead, it must become the infrastructure of higher education. And with that, we return back to the question we begin with. Are Mediterranean universities prepared to lead the climate? We believe they do. But for now, we have strong declarations, but scattered action, fragmented efforts. We have growing awareness, but eroding confidence, expanding content, but fragile structures, and unadapted, let's say, staff, faculty. So this provides, in our opinion, an excellent opportunity to lead the change, to build a climate education that empowers generations and elevates individuals and collective profiles through a shared collaborative vision and close collaboration. Thank you, and I give back the floor to you, Natalie.
Partnership for Climate Action that was done the work by Marcello directly. And finally, appears the manifesto. The manifesto is like the synthesis, the synthesis of all this work done during these 2 days in Girona. But I repeat, if somebody is interested, we have some draft document to this beginning that there is more information there. Okay. So I think it's really important to repeat once and another time that the manifesto calls to the higher education institutions to sign and to support, because we think that it's very important to get this support. And of course, this assembly is a key moment to ask for this support to go deep in this Euromed University Initiative for Climate Action. This document, the document that you have, some of you, I think, almost all of you, establish 4 main pillars of commitment of our higher education institutions. So this is important to underline. The first one is advance in the regional cooperation in climate education. We have this. We have. Adil has presented the preliminary results of this questionnaire, but we need to go deep in that. We need to know exactly what happens in the Mediterranean context in related to climate academic offer. So is and make them visible. We need to know. This is the first step, I think, to go further. Okay. We need to develop regional curriculum guidelines to standardize the education, but of course, taking in consideration the characteristics of each higher education institution, taking in consideration the CDG elements, and it's very important also the question element, and I think it can help the idea of creation of one university alliance in this question can help a lot. The second pillar is make climate education a curricular baseline, integrate, in this case, sustainability and climate literacy in the graduation requirements. And in this question, another important question is expand the interdisciplinarity faculty training, because another of the results of the questionnaire was this idea that the interdisciplinarity and still less transdisciplinarity is not well done in this few number of programs in the Mediterranean region. Really important to promote this engagement is include art, humanities, and social science in this perspective, and of course the ethical reasoning and the social justice is aspects that we need to take in consideration. It's not about environmental science or polytechnics. It's more than that. And for example, art, it's fundamental of humanity, philosophy. It's really fundamental to engage and to get good results, and taking all in consideration this ethical and social justice. The third pillar is include students in climate governance and action. We know is one of the powerful elements in this idea. Encourage regional mobility. It's really important for the students get the opportunity to know other realities and other solutions related to climate change. Is part of this brain circulation that we were talking yesterday. And also we are been talking about science diplomacy, knowledge diplomacy, student diplomacy. It is still it's really really needed. Align education with evolving demands of green markets. This was a hot topic in the morning sessions. So it's really important to find to build these ecosystems in cooperation with different business, the public sector, NGOs. So it's really, really important, this question. And of course, this idea to support youth-led climate initiatives. Also, the not formal education is a key opportunity to support the students that need to be a key element in this objective to fight against climate change. The fourth pillar is include students in climate governance and action, promote regional and local living labs. It was also, we were been talking about this question in the morning, is part also of this brain circulation. Adopt sustainability indicators and carbon neutrality targets in the campuses. I don't know if the plastic use today was the best example, but we need to go further in that question. Foster university based in incubators and accelerators. The startups is again the hot topic of this morning. Promote this entrepreneurship. This is another key question, and of course the manifesto introduced some final commitments. Right? So how to move forward? How to move forward? Okay. One of them is act locally with stakeholders. So we need to do that in cooperation with relevant stakeholders, including government authorities, civil society, business, the media. It's very important, the media, to support and coordinate the impactful climate action. The other is join to global initiatives. We had in Girona a very interesting presentation from UNESCO Greening Education. So we need to work together and to join these global initiatives. Call on authorities to align support and investment. In part, this manifesto is part of this strategy. No, is like try to make to make some kind of lobbying. No, to look for more financial support in this important matter. Inspire students to lead the change. For this reason, is so important. Support mobility and youth initiatives. Of course, we have started 2-3 years ago to be present in the global forum. So we need to be there in the COP30, for example, to explain the manifesto, the importance of the manifesto, and maybe why not go or try to explain our experience to other regions, to other realities, no? To do something in the same line that for sure we will create some positive synergies. Okay, define a common roadmap, and then of course the coordination of Union of Mediterranean, and for sure with the support of Unimed. And finally, the idea is to transform Mediterranean higher education into a driver of regional climate resilience. This knowledge diplomacy. So it's really important and needed in a very important topic like is climate change. And finally, why not? I don't know. This is a question. Maybe one Euro-Mediterranean alliance on climate change will be a good option. But of course, we need to define what is inside of this idea of climate change, like Giuseppe Provenzano was introduced this morning, no? That we say climate change, but we need to be to concrete something in particular. No, that's maybe this is the inspiring question for all of you. If some of you want to take this responsibility, this is our responsibility. I think it was really clear that this morning and yesterday, the question of climate change appears more than ever during the assembly, and it's part of one reality, like was introduced by Adil. No, this is not something that we can. We have the opportunity to notice ourselves what is happens right now especially in the Mediterranean region and other regions around the world. I think this idea helps also move to peace. This was the key word in the morning session. Move to peace from knowledge, from knowledge diplomacy, science diplomacy, and
of State of Arab League. And also, I am the president for Council of Future Studies and Risk Management in Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research in Egypt. This council 6 years ago to establish the study in the future. Study in the future maybe have a potential or a risk, and how to cover this risk. 2 weeks ago, it's my pleasure to invite to attend a 2 days workshop in Girona. I thank UFM, Unimed, and Girona University, Abdelmalek Saad University, to host me and invited me for this very important workshop. The title about the greening education. All of us in our universities working in green education, green economy, green hydrogen, something like this. So we have a project in Arab Academy finished 1 year ago. The title is the project is Uni Green, and the title is Higher Education for Climate Change. So it is very aligned with the initiative of greening education in Girona. The project leading by Arab Academy and a big NGO in Egypt called Life Makers. Partners 10 Egyptian universities. Theoretically, we divided Egypt three parts horizontally: north, middle, and south. From north, Matruh University, Alexandria University, Damanhur University. From middle, Al-Azhar University, Sadat City University, Suez University. From Upper Egypt or north, south, New Valley University, South Valley University, Luxor University, Aswan University. All of these partners are the area of implementation of our project. Beneficiaries of the project, of course, students, staff in the university, either faculty or administrative staff, policymakers, community, and NGOs. The output of the project expected and already implemented, the first part is called CBL. We spent a lot of 1 year to write CBL. CBL, community-based learning. I sent it to Natalie yesterday, and she can distribute for our members. It's free and published. About 100 paper for every university. Every university studied the problem in its area, especially for climate change, and put some solution. And we collect all of this and put it in one book called CBL, and all universities transfer this experience with the others. And then we transfer to the second stage. The second stage, to publish a competition to find innovative solution for climate change. And the competition for all people in Egypt, either Egyptian or non-Egyptian, under 30. And we received more than 400 applications. We make interviews and evaluation to shortlist for 20, and then we support 5 out of 20. The 5 winners must be established startups. All of them already registered startups. 3 are working. 1 of them working with contracts more than $1 million. 1 of them have a problem now with the registration authority in Egypt. So after this, we need to go to the policy maker. This is very, very important. We have a big problem in our life, especially in academia. We cannot transfer our paper, research, technical to the policymaker, to the industrial sector. So this is the output after this. If we see the outlines, I will pass. We have 4 components for the project, for the university: understanding what is the climate change and its impact, community action for climate change, sustainable development goals, and the climate change case studies for each university. This is, I can go to the, for the time, okay? Okay, no problem. Some consequences of climate change. This is a very important. One of our team make a research, what is the relation between the SDG number 13 and everyone. The impact of climate change is negative for poverty, negative for hunger, negative for water. So climate change can consider one of the important SDGs. If we can face the impact of climate change, we can solve many SDGs from this 17. I need to go to the policy maker to submit the policy paper, and I need to see what is the problem. In Egypt, we have a parliament and we have a committee for environment. And in this project, steering committee, we have 3 very important persons: Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Ministry of Social Solidarity, and Minister of Environment. They help us to go to the parliament, to the Committee of Environment, to submit our results. When we go to the policymaker hasn't enough time to discuss. We go with options. We already make 5 options. These 5 options: enhancing research and innovation, integrating climate change education, strengthening community engagement, fostering partnership and collaboration, securing funding and the resource. I think it is the same language we say. If we say this map policy options here, the first one, enhancing research and innovation, they ask us, what do you need? What do you need from us? Specialized research centers, interdisciplinary research. Second one, integrating climate change. What do you need? Climate topics in courses, specialized climate degrees programs. Strengthening community engagement. What do you need? Partnership with NGOs, university-led public awareness campaign. Everything from the 5, they ask us, what is the opportunity for each one? And what is the problem? What is the threats you will be faces in each one? We put it for each one. Specialized research center, it is potential for Egyptian scientists and researchers from Arab African countries. Threats, these centers require high initial cost. We need a cost from the government. Interdisciplinary research involving diverse social, economics, environment, all of this. What is the problem? Resistance from traditional academic structure. Sometimes the resistance from academia comes from academia, not from the industry or the market. I am scientist, I am working environment, and you are in social science. No. I am owner for this center and you are social science and something like this. Policy option 2, integrating climate change education. Number 1, climate topics is existing in courses. All 10 universities making a courses, some of them is mandatory and the other is options for students in different degrees, bachelor, master, something like this. And there is one course, unique course called Advanced Topic in Environmental Science. And it is open for each university to embed it inside this course, the problem for its region. So it is not fixed, can be flexible for any university, can be changed. What do you need? Okay. Specialized climate degrees. All universities, 3 of them establish a new degrees in environmental science, 1 degree in Arab Academy, which is my institute. We already established a master degree in smart management for marine environment. And this is with cooperation with Al-Qadi Ayyad University in Morocco and a university from Cyprus. Policy option, strengthening community engagement. Also, we have opportunity and threats. Partnership with NGOs. Policy option, fostering partnership and collaboration. 4.1, alliance with international institutions. What is the opportunity? What is the threats? We make this for all 5 key issues for the presentation and submit to the Committee for Environment. The Committee of Environment in Egyptian Parliament already gives us a decree. The topic of advanced environmental science must be mandatory, not option for all universities. And it applied from last September. This is, I think this is the optimum result of this project for all universities. There is a course called Advanced Environmental Science, and the option inside this course is the topics which the university see it's needing according to the region of the university. I can stop here. Thank you. Thank you. I have 2 presentation here.
It will be available on the website. That was I was saying. So all the presentations will be available, so you can access them later on. Before wrapping up, I would like to give the floor to Giuseppe if you want to add something.
Just a very quick word, because I feel that during these 2 days I spoke a lot. But I'm coming here with the double hat, because as one of the moderators for this meeting that was mentioned, where we had some very excellent participants, but also as Union for the Mediterranean, meaning that we are very pleased to be working with Unimed on this initiative. We really put a lot of efforts in trying to devise something which is useful for the region. And we see this line, which is directly connecting the University of Calabria to the COP in Brazil. COP Belém will be presented, inshallah, as they say. So the contribution here today have a long way ahead, and it's also a call to action into joining this wonderful initiative. It's something also which has a lot of potential of being concrete. The point that was taken again by Giuseppe is that climate is very generic, but it's the title. Then once we get to work, we already immediately realize what we are talking about. When it's about green skills, and we published a study last year about the potential of green skill in changing the way that we do education, the way that we do research. Most of research in the Mediterranean is about climate in one way or the other. We talk about water, agriculture, we do everything. And I'm just going to close with a petition to use the incredible amount of energies, efforts, and tools which have already been developed in the region about climate change, which means that if you join these efforts, you are not going to start from scratch. I can only think, for instance, about the MEDEC initiative, the Mediterranean Expert on Climate Change. There is a ton of expertise about the Mediterranean climate change. This is about calling university into action to complement and do the other segment, the other segment about the university work on this, and to put into systemic use, because there is already ton of universities doing their own work. There is the work on greening education in the UNESCO, but there is also the education for sustainable development, which is also done by the UN Committee for Europe, which has a Mediterranean dimension. So it's exciting work. It's necessary work. Now we just need the legs and the hands to advance on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Giuseppe. So I don't know if from the audience there are questions interested in joining, I hope. So I will wrap up. You have a question?
Thank you, Natalie. And sincere thanks to the speakers, and congratulations for this wonderful work. You did fantastic job. Thanks to you, by the way, and Unimed for bringing the scholars together and to come up with this important document. And I think that makes like a sort of a paradigm shift in the region, that and a call for action. And I would, Joseph, if I may, I mean the calling for the alliance, that's actually to make it more promising, like something like it united for the planet, something that actually gives like a hope to get out of this challenge in terms of the impact of the climate change. I mean, so going a step further in an innovative way, I don't know, I don't have ideas in my mind, but something that goes the direction. So I think this is legitimate call. This is something that everyone should consider seriously. In Limo, in Libya, despite the context, the political, security, political challenges in the country, yet Limo is always looking into the future in a promising way, has adapted strategies that calls for climate-friendly actions, paperless organization, paperless university, university without walls, adapting the strategy for the sustainability strategy. I mean, those are kind of calls. Perhaps you don't find like audience in the beginning, but the more you speak, the more you profile, the more you advocate for, you get more. Yeah, that I'm telling you the experience in Libya. I mean, in that in the complex political security situation, and yet that works. And I suppose what you are doing now should be penciled and congratulated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The results of your preliminary study.
Sorry, can you introduce yourself?
Okay.
I think everybody.
Okay, this is Ayşe from Turkey. The preliminary results, and there were some suggestions, and one of the suggestions were resonant, that you suggested that there should be curricular labs. Okay, so I'm curious about whether this initiative will lead the member universities to build these curricular labs so that we can integrate and implement this screening education in our institutions. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, so this is, let's say, this is part of the roadmap. So it's going to be the wrap up. So the manifesto is ready. It has been published both on the UFM and the Unimed website 2 days ago. So on time for the assembly. We will share, of course, a proper email to invite you to read the paper, to endorse it, the manifesto, to endorse it. And we will then, the idea is to have, as said this morning, also before by Giuseppe, to present it during the COP in Belém, so in November. And from then, we will start with concrete actions. We will define them together. So there will be a roadmap to be developed all together. So it's really a joint action. And we are eager to, there will be the first initiative we would like really to launch is the mapping. So enlarge the mapping of the existing curricula to see really at which stage we are. And then also join forces, not only with the universities, but also with other networks, with other initiatives that are ongoing on the same topic. And I'm thinking about the Durham Declaration of the Coimbra Group. During the Greening Education event in Girona, there were other networks, for example, GUNI. So also GUNI is working on similar initiatives, it's similar declarations. So it's to join forces and hear about the universities, what is missing, and how we can bridge the gap. That's not bridge, fill in the gap, not bridge the gap, sorry, fill in the gap. So we will share with you the links to read the manifesto, and there is a proper email, so an email address from the UFM where you can endorse the manifesto. It will be the governance of the university, so we have to have a proper endorsement from the governance of your institutions, and we can exchange in the coming weeks and after the summer break, of course, and see together how to go ahead. I don't know if you have any other comments.
I want just to comment that maybe I will need also your help to complete this map. So it will be really important if you are also commit with this objective, because it's I think the first step to know what happens right now, because we know only partially. Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Also, I invited Unimed and UFM to organize just online big meeting for all members to present our experience. I think many of our universities has a lot of projects for climate change. And by the way, the 5 startups for winners, invited as one of entrepreneurial all over the world for COP29 in Baku last year. So I know, and I'm sure all of us have experience and the projects and the knowledge. We need a platform. The platform may be between UNIMED and UFM to put all of this experience and sharing it. This is the first issue. The second issue, before the project finishing, I have an idea from the project. We have in Egypt a problem with employability. And there is some people non-educated, non-employment need. So with a big company working in waste management, we establish a jobs for non-educated people, and they can be employed in this company, and they submit this issue for the policymaker. When goes to the policymaker, please make be clear, simple, and short. And they fund the project, and the company now established. It is a young company for waste management in Alexandria, and the number of employees in the company now about 55 persons. Thank you.
I don't want to introduce myself. Mapping exercise will be exactly that. It's what the university are doing in terms of curricula, but also in terms of initiative, projects, activities, because we need to capitalize what is already there. We don't have to invent new things. Probably at some point we will, but probably I'm very far from. We have to benefit from the existing initiative. This is the first 2 points of the manifesto is mapping and drafting, thanks to the mapping, what is already done. And thanks to the Uniform Mediterranean, they are already looking for some resources for managing that drafting and mapping exercise. This will be fundamental because we are able to do something if we know. If we don't know, probably we will create something that is already there. But climate change is not a new topic. It's a very sexy topic, let me say, but it's not a new topic, okay? And there are a lot of experiences, as you already, you had several slides that show that there is a huge work on that. And I think that, as you said, in several universities, and your idea to organize meetings, we could eventually identify some topics, sub-topic, ask members if they have practices to present it, and then we could organize meetings on discussing about particular topic. It's really a starting point, not from the scratch, that is important to mention, but it's really a starting point of a Euro-Mediterranean initiative on climate change, because the region is unfortunately affected by, and we need to show to our policymaker, again, that universities have something to say on that.
Thank you. I don't know, Adil, if you want to have a final word. It's okay. Thank you, Adil. So thank you to everybody, and wait for our official communication on the manifesto. Okay, technical communication. Here you will have the session on employability, and the one on the Euro-Mediterranean alliances is in the other room, same floor.
Adil, adiós, Adil. Que vaya todo bien. Un abrazo. Okay.
لا صح. Hi, Katrina. Hi, Silvia.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yes, I can. Hi,
Okay.
everyone. Hi, everyone.
Sì, prova a aprire le slide. No, è aperto.
Silvia,
Yes.
j'entends comme quoi un retour de voix. Je ne sais pas si. Juste un instant. Même si je fais mieux. Tu m'entends maintenant? Maintenant, tu m'entends? OK. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Not really. A little bit better. Yes, sure. Yeah. Yeah, much better. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then, Sylvia, I will share my presentation, right? Okay. Okay. I just want to check. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me now? Silvia, can you hear me now? Yes. Yes, sure. So now I'm moving from a slide to another. Okay. Okay, so you can see that I'm moving from a slide to another now, right? Okay, perfect. Okay.
No, però avevamo detto che finivano alle 4 meno un quarto. Possiamo guardare così. Perché se no, poi noi ci abbiamo mezz'ora, perché dobbiamo finire alle 4:30. È vero che io c'ho solo 2 speaker, quindi a me figurati finisco subito, però cioè ma qui è tutto Marcello però, no, quindi io faccio rimanere le persone qua. Sì, vabbè, certo. Quindi pure che finisco 5 meno un quarto non è un problema. No, no, certo. Okay. Di me non hanno ancora finito, per questo che un attimo a capire se finiscono di là, perché se poi c'è qualcuno che nella sessione precedente volesse venire qua, quindi non possiamo cominciare. Grazie. Guarda, io ho usato questo, quindi quelli là forse sono usati, li potete buttare, gli altri sono puliti. Grazie.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, Linda.
Something happened that I cannot open any of my camera. Is it any restriction? I cannot open my camera. Okay. Okay. And you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay.
Non so, è la magia di Unical. Io farò un'introduzione brevissima perché sennò io dico solo il fatto che dopo tutto quello che ci siamo detti, facciamo un workshop transversal topic, che è il ruolo appunto dei network in practices, proprio per dare risalto anche al capacity, human being, e quindi vuole vedere il ruolo, knowledge sharing,
Perché
sì.
sennò qua intendono più
Sì. No, parlo di
Questo
knowledge
invece ne
sharing
parla
e community of practices,
Ok.
esatto. Sì, certo. Mh.
Ok, vediamo mo'. Ecco qua, a posto. Allora, sull'impostazione. Sì. Impostazione. Audio. Audio, microfono ciliare. Predefinito.
E tutti i
E là ce l'hai disattivato. Ecco qua. Allora, non c'è cosa. Ma vediamo il caso. Avanti. Non riesci a capire.
asking something more.
C'è un ritorno per forza. Non è un audio che guarda, si muove molto strano, non è. Adesso.
Network on employability. So we would like to, through the European Training Foundation experience and the Unimed subnetwork experience, going through their good practices and see how we can contribute, how you can contribute in being member of this community of practices. So to see what are the challenges, what are the barriers that you may be encountering, and what is the added value to be member of a community of practices. So without further delay, I would like then to give the floor to Ermina Martini. I will just briefly introduce her. She joined the ATF in 2020. Before to join the ATF, she was working in International Electoral Observation Mission for OSCE, EU, and the Carter Center. And she has served as a senior officer for civil society at the EU Agency for Asylum in Malta. Now she is also in ETF. She specializes in innovative teaching and learning, and currently she works as mobilization and partnership officer. So I give the floor to Ermina. Thank you very much for being with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Silvia. And indeed, if it was already challenging the previous panel, this panel is the most challenging one, because there's been a very intense 2 days assembly. I will promise I will do my best to be short and to the point and try to keep your attention as much as possible. One word on what is ETF, because maybe it was not clear to everyone. ETF is not a university. We are not neither the European Commission, but we are an agency of the European Union. And our mandate is to work with partner countries. I think there is a slide. So we work outside the EU, in the Eastern neighborhood, in Central Asia, and in the CEMED region. To do what? We basically support these partner countries in the development of their vocational training system. So vocational training and what we call human capital development is our mandate. And we've been established 30 years ago by a council regulation of the Commission. ETF can be defined actually a knowledge-based organization. So that's also why we decided with Unimed, Unimed, we have a strong partnership since many years to talk about community of practice, to talk about the ways that in ETF we develop to develop knowledge and to share knowledge. In ETF, we have been managing we've been actually developing 5 networks. engagement, the pioneer, the innovator, and the ambassador. While for the network, the Skill Lab network, we have 2 different badges. So, and I think it was mentioned also in the other panel before, for students, the fact of being recognized, the recognition was a key element to foster and to promote engagement of our members. I wanted to show you how actually the badge looks like, because I just issued a badge to myself this morning. But basically, you get a badge and then you can share it through your network in LinkedIn, in the social media, and you can also get a PDF in a sort of certificate format. So recognition is one key element that we try to invest on, and then the other, so our community, they are basically virtual community. What we also realize is that it's very important to have some moment of a face-to-face presence. So we try to combine few occasions based also on resource availability, where the most engaged members of the community have the opportunity to go outside. So either to come to ETF for some specific events, like we organize an award, similarly to the Star Cup, but for teachers and trainers. We launch a competition for innovative teaching and learning practices, and the finalists, they come to Turin. They come to Turin to pitch, to do further work together. But then we also offer to some active members the opportunity to bring the knowledge, the practice that they develop within the community outside to some events. And finally, what I was mentioning before, we saw important to try to move from an engagement that is more passive, so they react to the events or to the activity that we create, to a process where the members, they became the owner actually of the process. And last year, in 2024, we established this new format of working, of collaboration, that is called the New Learning Club. The New Learning Club, they are basically working group established on a people actually can join. We launch a call on some subject that the community listed as priority, and they decide to join, to come together to discuss. They have a very limited time duration. They last between 6 months and 9 months, and they come up with some concrete output. They are managed by 2 leaders of the community, members from the community, and the ETF is basically facilitating the process. And the result was very successful, because I will share just the link. So we launched 2 clubs, one on innovative STEAM education and one on teaching with artificial intelligence. And these were the outputs that we were developed. One is this toolkit on teaching in STEAM. On teaching on STEAM, and adesso le vede? Sì. Ok, perfetto. You can navigate this output and this tool. They are all available in the community page. This has been recently translated in Georgian spontaneously by one member of the community that is Georgian, and they are very practical output that the community developed. And behind this work, which can be beneficial for the entire community of 1,500 educators, there is 15 hours of collective work. So not much, but actually a very, very prominent result. And the other one is a toolkit on teaching with artificial intelligence, which can further explore if you are interested. Should I stop here? Yes.
Thank you very much, Ermina, for sharing this very relevant experience and about your community of practices, especially on skills and innovative educators. So thank you very much. I think we can give the floor to Linda to share also the Unimed experience on this topic, and then we can open for any questions or any comment from the audience. So I would like to introduce very briefly Linda Cutie Mowat. Is a certified business coach, lecturer at Antonin University and moderator based in Lebanon. She holds a PhD in business administration, and she has over 15 years of experience. She's passionate about serving entrepreneurs, small businesses and startups to grow and achieve higher income by considering social and environmental impact. She's a member of the Mine Center team and co-founder of the Miles Lebanese University Incubator, where she offers training and coaching sessions and contributes to the organization of various competitions locally and regionally. And Linda, of course, is also a member of the Unimed Sub-Network Employability, and she's coordinated together with Professor Selim Mekdessi, the Dean of the Faculty of Business Administration, the Lebanese University, and she's also one of the main actors of the Startup competition. Linda, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Sylvia. Thanks for having me. I will share my PowerPoint presentation. I believe that you can see my screen,
yes.
right?
Yes, we see your slides.
Okay,
Thank
perfect. Okay. So first of all, I will start by briefly introducing Unimed. I know that you know already what is it about. But in fact, is University Network for Cultural Dialogue and International Cooperation. And you can see, in fact, the link between this panel, so the role of stakeholders and knowledge sharing with the mission of Unique. And Unimed is about 179 universities and research centers. So we work all together. And those universities and research centers, they represent 25 countries. And here you can see the diversity in this network. So moving to understand how Unimed is divided in sub-networks. And when we talk about sub-networks, we have a purpose. So what we do is bringing together research centers, universities, departments, faculties, academics, and researchers in order to work on a selected topic. And when I say selected topics, I'll give you examples on the subtopics that we have. We have the Mediterranean tourism, the art studies, food and water. Now we have the e-learning and open education, food and water already mentioned, migration, and other subnetworks. So the purpose here is to favor the scientific cooperation, the exchange of experiences and information, and to strengthen this partnership and establish new collaboration. So we always look not only to work with the members that we have and partner with the institutions that we know, but we want to always expand and have new collaborations. And the activities, in fact, as I said, are based on cooperation among the Euro-Mediterranean universities. What I will be doing now is zooming on one specific sub-network, which is the sub-network on employability. And here I will give you just an idea how this network started. It was initiated by Resume Project, and Resume Project is a new project funded under Erasmus Capacity Building Program, promoting cooperation between members on entrepreneurship and employability to reinforce the collaboration between the higher education, the vocational and professional training. So this was the aim behind the Resume Project. And the outcome of this project was the subnetwork on employability. And here it's back 2018. And every subnetwork under Unimed is coordinated by a specific university. For the subnetwork on employability, it's coordinated by the Lebanese University and Unimed. More specifically, we have Centre-Mine, which is the Center for Careers Innovation under the Lebanese University, and Professor Salim Adasi is representing the university. And under the subnetwork on employability, we have 31 institutions representing 13 countries. And here as well, we like to highlight, in fact, the diversity that we have in Unimed, the diversity in every sub-network. So we have the members, as I said, so you can just check the list of the members. So we have universities from Iraq, universities from Morocco, from Tunisia, others from Oman and Palestine and other countries. And in addition to the members that we collaborate together, we have partnerships. And here as well, you can see the partnership with European Training Foundation, with Union for the Mediterranean, Agence Universitaire de la Francophonie. We have Siam Bari, Homer, Businessman. So the partnerships are, part of them are universities, others are institutions related in a way or another to the mission, to the existence of the subnetwork on employability. And in fact, what we do exactly under this subnetwork, so as the name shows, we work on skills development. So the partnerships are, part of them are universities, which is related in fact, what we do under this subnetwork, so as the name shows, we work on skills development.
Tutte le settimane arriva la stessa cosa.
To highlight is a competition dear to my heart. It's a startup competition. I believe you heard a lot about it during the last couple of days. So this this competition, in fact, is about pooling. In fact, every year, university students, in order to come up with business ideas, and the business ideas should tackle, in a way or another, a specific problem, a specific gap common to the region. So sometimes we have topics related more to social entrepreneurship. Other years we focus on green entrepreneurship. This year specifically, it was the AI. And we start, in fact, preparing for this competition months ahead in order to bring the students from different countries to a specific location, universities, like this year where it was held at the Calabria University. So if I go back through the 6th edition, so you can see that the first one was in Italy, the second one was hybrid, the virtual, in fact, not even hybrid because of COVID. The third one was in Jordan, the 4th edition in Spain, the 5th one last year in Turkey. And this year's competition is in Italy, Calabria University. And what we can see, and in addition to hybrid session in parallel for this specific year, because we faced a bit of when it comes to the visa and the general situation in the country. But what I would like to highlight, in fact, when it comes to the startup competition, is that we always have very interesting ideas. The students are motivated to work all together. They have the teamwork spirit. They sometimes we see that they cooperate together, not even compete together. We can see the relationships that they build all together, especially when they are in person, and not to mention, of course, the added value of all the business ideas helping, in fact, to solve the different problems that I just mentioned. And what is really interesting in this competition is seeing, in fact, the number of participants increasing from a year to another, and how we're able, in fact, to overcome all the challenges that we're facing in order to have 6 consecutive editions from a year to another. In addition to the students, we can see the advisors of the students. Sometimes we have deans, we have international relationship representatives with us, so we can see how we are bringing, in fact, all the university staff, university students, professors work together, and usually this competition is held in parallel with the General Assembly where we are today. So there is always something special about the startup competition. Other than this competition, in order, in fact, to show you what we do and how we tackle all the areas that I just listed, I can mention, in fact, the contribution that we usually have when it comes, let's say, to specific issues like this one, the and youth entrepreneurship in the Mediterranean agri-food sector. It was a collaboration with Siam Bari, a university based in Italy, and the sub-network on employability contributed in writing a specific chapter under the title of Academic Entrepreneurship and Higher Education Institutions in the MENA region. We tackled the priorities, the gaps, the challenges, and the perspectives for the future. Another, in fact, contribution, it was in this issue related to university business cooperation. And our contribution in this specific issue was best practices about Centre-Mines, which is the Centers for Career and Innovation at the Lebanese University. So we can see that we are sharing the best practices in order to help others to learn from what we're going through. And it's, of course, it's not only a collaboration from the Lebanese University. We always try to involve other partners depending on the topic, depending on their availability. Another type of activities that we do is, in fact, participating in conferences like this one, which was the Meta Week in Barcelona in 2022, where Unimed delegation as well was represented by the Professor Salim Adisi, representing the sub-network on employability. And in fact, we try to highlight, in fact, the important points when it comes to the sub-network on employability, but definitely I cannot include the challenges, in fact, that we usually face whenever we're managing a sub-network having a big number of members and partnerships. First of all, I can talk about the different institutional priorities. Sometimes we have universities focusing maybe on the academic excellence rather than, let's say, labor market, or in a specific period during the year, they are working on very specific topics other than the employability. So it's one of the challenges whenever we want to involve them in specific activities or panels or even writing articles. Another thing, it can be here, I would like as well to highlight the priorities of the students, because let's say When we launched the call for the startup competition this year, some students, they faced problems in managing their time, especially when having the final exams or the final year project presentations. So it's one of the type of challenges that we usually face, but we always try, in fact, to adapt because we understand definitely the situation. Another type of challenges is the limited resources and time. So here as well, we know that all university staff and students are sometimes overloaded with the work they have and the responsibilities, so they cannot always dedicate time for all the activities. And here's the advantage when we have a big pool of members. So if not all the members are available, we can even have members present with us. When it comes as well to the resources, I can give you the example of the startup as well. Unimed usually we ask the universities to fund the tickets of the students whenever we have the startup competition and whenever they have to travel from a country to another. And sometimes we face problems because some universities, in fact, they cannot fund the tickets for their students, especially when it comes to high seasons and so on. The coordination is related more to the challenge that we use sometimes, to the languages, even time zones sometimes. This can be a challenge. And unequal engagement, I have to be honest that we cannot see the same level of engagement from all the members. We try to engage them as much as possible, but in fact, definitely we have members more active, more available. Maybe bigger universities, they can manage better their time. And here I link this to the limited resources sometimes and even human resources. So this was an overview regarding Unimed, the subnetworks, how they are in fact divided with a special focus on the subnetwork, on employabilities, the activities that we have, and the challenges that we're facing. Definitely, if you would like to know more about this subnetwork specifically, I invite you to visit the website related to Unimed and the Lebanese University, where you can see the details related to our activities. And definitely, I invite you to take part of all our activities, the upcoming activities, and we'll be so happy to collaborate all together. Thank you.
We can, of course, tackle better your contribution and your participation. So I would like, if there are any questions or any comment that you would like to share from the audience with us, and how we can, you see the participation in this community of practices. For example, if you are participating in any community of practices or you are engaged in other Unimed subnetwork, how do you see the added value, first of all, of these knowledge sharing networks, and what you would like to receive from us, because of course we are always here to improve our work, and we need your contribution, your participation. So I don't know, I'm addressing the people that are still here with us, if they have any comment. Okay, we have Professor Benjeloun and then Dr. Nazar.
Thank you. Thank you, Sylvia, and thanks also go to your guests for very interesting presentations. The problem that we have in the South Mediterranean is somewhere in between the two presentations, and it's a problem related to the social, how do I say this? It's not stigma, but it's the social biases against vocational training and vocational education. That in many of our countries, you go to vocational training when you can't do anything else. And that's really inadaptive at this point, because these are the people that get the work. Those who go on to PhDs and so forth have a much harder time getting employment. So the paradox is, how can we deal with these challenges? I like the idea of opening up passageways or bridges between professional education or vocational education and eventually the university. That can always be a good carrot to hang out there. But we really need to get people into vocational education, because it's the skilling and the reskilling and the upskilling, and this is what our countries need, whether they be oil producers who are diversifying, or whether they be agricultural countries that are industrializing. In both cases, these are very, very important profiles.
Thank you, Professor Benjeloun. I don't know if Mina, since Professor Benjeloun quote about vocational training, if you would like to say something from your experience in ETF.
No, I think it reflects not only the situation in the CEMED region, but also in Europe for sure. So what, for instance, we try to do in the community of innovative educators is to open up also to teachers. So for instance, a big component of our community, they are teachers from primary school, secondary school. And for instance, the next New Learning Club is on teachers' professional development. So we try to tackle actually very practical skills that they can be used at different levels. So for instance, the New Learning Club on Artificial Intelligence develop a toolkit that can be used at the university level by academics, but also at different level of the secondary education. But the picture you draw is actually correct.
Thank you. I think there was another question from Dr. Nazar from the University of The Hague.
And I think, thank you, our speakers. It was a very, interesting session. My questions or my comment is well connected to the level of engagement. Knowledge sharing and community of practices are always important to evolve and reach innovative ideas and even, finding solution to many current problems. And I was pleased to learn that there are several sub-networking groups working on different themes and different priorities. My question is, how would a university within the Unimed get connected with these groups? Because I'm from the University of The Hague, and as for other universities in Kurdistan region in Iraq, they do have a needs. They work on their own. They have scholars. They have researchers working on different topics, but they don't have any connections with these working or networking group. So if let's say if we are willing to be part of one of these groups, because we already on the ground, we do have a needs, and we have the resources, as Sylvia mentioned. Plus, some of these working groups were, an outcome of a project, like what Professor Dr. Linda said. That subnetwork on employability was an outcome of a project. It means there are, specific partners, and if it's ongoing, then how I would be a part of that group if I do have a need similar to those within their discussions. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Yes, Linda, I wanted to give you the floor to answer.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
please.
thank you. First of all, I'm happy to see that the professor is interested to join the sub-network. If I understood well, he mentioned University of Hook, which is already part of the sub-network, and they participated in fact in the startup competition, and they won in fact this year's edition. But if you're talking about any other university already part of the Unimed, so you can just send us a request with the details of the university, and we can later on have a meeting to understand in fact what you do exactly, your activities, and how we can find like a common ground in order to work together. With pleasure. And we can provide you in fact most welcome, most welcome.
No, c'è tutto, ma non lo vedi con lo scudato. No, quello è il banner. No, è il banner che mi hanno mandato. Il banner che mi hanno mandato. Quello che immagino. Sì. Ma Calabria poi, Calabria, sì, lo devono impicciolire, però poi non si capisce come.